Well, first of all, I played high school sports. So when I was going through junior high and high school in Edmonton, I played every sport that I possibly could, that I was able to make a team. And so I always had a love of sport. So then once I got into teaching and I went into the faculty of phys ed, that love of sport sort of kept going, right? It was a culmination of that love of sport that sort of brought me into teaching. And when I got to Marythorpe High School, I was teaching with another gentleman by the name of David Jenkins, and he was our zone rep to our zone meetings. And he said, Kelly, you have to come with me. It's important that we both get involved. So I said, okay. So I went to my first meeting, and that was the North Central Zone meeting. I was 26, maybe 25, 26 years old, and I'm sitting there completely oblivious to what was going on, had no understanding of what was going on at this table and didn't understand anything. So we came home, went back to school, and I said, okay, Dave, explain to me what was happening. And so he explained, and so we sort of got involved, and from that point on, both of us had attended those zone meetings. After about my second or third year at that table, Kent Lassard, who is one of our zone executives, said, Kelly, why don't you go to the fall planning meeting? We need a female, why don't you go? And at that point I was totally naive enough to say, sure, let's go. And so then I went to this zone meeting, or went to the fall planning meeting with the ASAA, and sat at this table again and had no understanding of what anybody was talking about. I felt completely sort of stupid, I guess would be the word. I felt completely unprepared for what they were talking about, and came back and I said, okay, I don't even know what we discussed or what I voted for. I just sort of went with what the zone wanted us to. And a couple of meetings later, I started to feel okay and understand what we were discussing. And then Gerarda, who is from Fort McMurray, had approached me for an executive position and said, hey, why don't you maybe think about putting your name in for this director of athletics? And I'm like, I have no idea what you're talking about again, and completely unprepared, but I think it was you, John, who came and talked to me and said, Kelly, why don't you do this? So I put my name in for this director of athletics for the executive, and ended up getting that position on the board. And it was really at that point in time that I felt, okay, I think I kind of understand what people are talking about. And I felt very comfortable at the table, but it took 5 or so years before I really felt comfortable discussing anything at that table. I believe in high school sport for kids. I believe in sport. I think sport's essential for all kids to participate in. I think it's an opportunity, especially when it comes to school sport, for kids to have opportunities to play, to get that chance to compete at a higher level. And so that would be my number one reason. And then the second reason, I think, is why I've stayed, not just at the school level, I think that's important too, but provincially, I think over the course of time, is the people who are involved with school sport, whether it's the ASAA or AIAAA or any of the other organizations involved. They are great people, and they're like-minded people. And I think that's the biggest thing for me, is you go there and you feel inspired, and you feel encouraged, and you feel that what you are saying is meaningful, so your opinion matters. And when you're sitting around a table of like-minded people who have the same passion for sport and the same belief about sport, all of a sudden now those ideas that you think are not possible become possible. And so sitting around that table, it's a wonderful thing to meet all these people from all over Alberta, to have those conversations, to really sort of get to know people. That's why I've stayed. I think it's the people that are involved, right? Those passionate people that are involved in sport. There's been a lot of events. Like I don't even know how I could narrow that down, because just through the different things that I've had the opportunities to become involved in, the people, I think my first executive was really fun. The second executive was interesting, and then the last the last term on the executive was the most fun I've ever had. I mean, the people, we laughed. I've never had the opportunity to laugh so hard with people. It was really fun to be a part of that. Going to my first provincials with my volleyball girls, I think that was a real highlight of my career as a coach, because I've gone to provincials with other teams, but I'd never gone with my own team. So taking my girls to the volleyball provincials was really good. The 50th anniversary of volleyball was amazing to be a part of that. planning our 50th anniversary of the ASAA was an amazing event. Being a part of Alberta's sort of advancement in that whole role of coach education, athletic director education was huge steps. I mean, in that 8 years, I can't believe the amount that we accomplished. Your opinion matters. I think that when you're involved in school sport, everybody's opinion matters. And I think as long as you are doing it for the correct reasons, and it's all about the kids and what's best for the student athletes and what's best for the association, your opinion matters. And that people need to be involved, and they need to have an opportunity to have those conversations with like-minded individuals, that people from different parts of the province, where you can have those conversations. And when you do, you start to learn. And as a leader, I think that's what you should be, is you're constantly evolving, and you want constant education, and you want to learn from other people. First of all, ASAA, I have to say thank you to you guys. John, Michelle, everybody else in the office. I have loved every moment that I have been involved with the ASAA. I think you guys know how I feel about, you guys as people, not just as an association. I value your friendship more than anything, and I think you've been great friends that, outside of school sport. I think we've made those connections, and I'm very thankful to you guys, number one. Tyler, for AIAA, yeah, I think Tyler has been probably one of the most forward-thinking people I've had the opportunity to work with, and being a part of the AIAA has absolutely opened my mind to the possibilities of what an athletic director can be and what they can do in a school. I have to say thank you to my family, especially to my husband Mark, who let me, and I don't want to say let me as he was, controlling, but he let me go off and do the things that I love to do. And he did it when we didn't have children, and he's been doing it since we have our 2 children. So he has been my rock at home, because I know that when I have to pick up and go, and I can do all of these great things that I've had the opportunities to do, that my family is taken care of. And that's important to me, to know that my children are taken care of, and that my husband is at home, and he's looking after those kids and keeping their life as normal as possible, so that I have those opportunities. My kids, who see me come and go sometimes, and who are excited when I'm having opportunities to go, who come to practices with me, who come to tournaments with me, and Maddie was my assistant coach this year for volleyball, which was really fun. So having those opportunities, I think is really important. Without a good, strong family, I don't think I would have been able to do all the things that I've been able to do in the last few years. So that's a huge thank you.